She was certified as a natural child super genius at only age 5, immediately implying that there was a bright future ahead for Riri Williams. Though I'm not sure anyone could have predicted just how bright, nor the darkness she had to overcome to reach her destiny among heroes. Having such a high level of intelligence and some, we'll say, behavioral issues, Riri became an introverted personality, closing off from most of the world, locked in the brilliance of her own mind, until she made a friend in Natalie Washington. Now, as can often be the case in origin stories, with great friendship comes great tragedy, and tragedy struck. A peaceful day outside quickly changed as stray fire from a drive-by shooting resulted in the loss of Riri's best friend and her stepfather. But Riri wasn't done. Riri used her super genius intellect to reverse engineer her own suit of armor from an old Iron Man model that was no longer in use. Nothing standing in her way, and an incredible drive, curiosity, and will, Riri succeeded in creating her own Iron Man armor. An armor that would be somewhat short-lived, as it was sacrificed in effort to stop some prison escapees that ended up in her path. Hearing of this, you may think Tony Stark would be upset, angry, possessive of his own tech, when it turns out he became supportive and endorsing of Riri Williams joining the pantheon of heroes, ultimately filling the mantle for Stark as he was incapacitated. Only she opted not to be an Iron Man, but an Ironheart. Now, at least that's how things went down in the comics, and as of today, depending on when and where you see this, we are likely to see a considerably different origin story for the MCU version, especially in a world without a Stark, without an Iron Man. And I look forward to learning together about Riri and the people of Wakanda and what lies in store for them in the latest installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan, aka JK of JK Collects, and remember, I'll be posting a new video at least twice a week, if not more. If that sounds of interest to you, please click that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. In this episode, we are taking a closer look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends 6-inch scale MCU Black Panther Wakanda Forever Ironheart. Okay everyone, and welcome back, and here she is, our very own Ironheart. Now this one is the version for the MCU Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie that just came out today. Today being, depending on whatever day you are watching this, but the day that we are filming is the day that it came out. So here it is. What a cool, massive package. So it kind of tells me we've probably got a lot going on inside of here, and what a very anime-looking comic book cartoon version of this. I'm very excited to see this in the movie. I'll actually be seeing it a little bit later today. Plastic-free packaging. Let's look at the back. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so we've got helmet and we've got that. So just a nice rendering to see what we can expect inside. Oh, I'm very excited about that. Yes. Okay, so Ironheart, like I said, a rendering, a little bit of details here on the back, Marvel and Hasbro. Here on the side, another rendering of the character with the helmet on in full armor. And then here's a nice little artistic representation looking a lot like a Transformer right there, right? It's like it could be a version of RC or something like that. But there we go, Marvel Legends Series. Well, yeah, they're proud of that plastic-free packaging. So there's, oh yeah, Wakanda Forever. Okay, very excited about all this. So let's see if we can just bust in from the side right here, like most Marvel Legends, and hope for the best, right? So we got that tape out of the way. Let's pop this little flap and see what we're doing. Hey, look, it just jumps right out at us. It's our best friend. I've got a serious collection of these so far, and I'm sure you probably do too, if they stick around long enough to be considered a collection. Okay, so there we go, box empty. We're gonna move that out of the way because that is everything we need out of it, and we've got our typical bags and bags of things. Now look, it's always good to do a little hunt around and shake to make sure everything comes out. See, this one's kind of jammed up in there. So I've got 1, 2, 3 bags. Okay, so check that as far as accessories, and then one loose that came out. And then we have the figure herself in her own bag, peeking out. How fun is that, right? You see the eyes peeking out if I didn't have it covered with my hand. All right, so we'll pop that loose and get her out. Done with the cardboard, everything's clear. So 3 bags, 1 loose, and then the figure, which is obvious right in the middle. So just keep an eye out for that. We don't want anything misplaced. All right, so let's start biggest bag first. And it's open, so it's not one that we have to pull open like a bag of chips. This one has several items in it, right? So it looks like we've got, oh man, look at these. We've got some back boosters. We have what looks like a line that needs to be attached and 2 blue, looks like jet things, all right? So that's the checklist for that first bag. Now let's take a little bit of a closer look and let's change it to manual focus so it does cooperate with us because we will make it. Okay, so here, these back engine boosters, I do look forward to seeing this happen in the movie, right? So it's like it's something that's going to be attached to the back of her. And then of course we've got these little blue items that would plug into here. I can't tell if they're keyed or not, but it looks like they plug in just fine like that. Okay, and then I've got another one plugs in here. Plugs in very easily, right? So it's a little bit of a rubbery blue plastic to go into this gray thruster piece, right? And it's very well done, right? Cast in a nice shiny red plastic, and then we have this goldish plastic that is also cast in, and a little bit of black paint, and then what appears to be another piece of black plastic that is cast. So the only paint that we're dealing with on that one is that bit of black stripe, which looks like it's pretty cleanly done, right? So nothing that really stands out. It doesn't seem like it was intended to go all the way down here, but if it was, that was a spot that was missed, because it kind of did over there, but I don't know. With that transitioning to that gold, it's tough to say. Here's a spot where we could have had a little bit of detail, right? Some gray or some silver for this, right? The manifold looking piece coming out of here. This maybe looks like for heat or something. So, you know, maybe some color in there, some black or gray or something to really make those pieces stand out from the red, you know, just kind of make it pop a little bit more. Both are very much identical. And this kind of tells me that, yeah, the black was intended to travel a little bit farther around because it does on this side a little bit more as well as on there. So yeah, a little bit of a missed thing right there, but who's complaining? Not me. And then the line is just cast out of some gray plastic, right? So looks like we got a braided, steel braided hose maybe, and we've got 2 ends that look like they're ready to plug into something, which we will soon discover what that is. All right, let's go to our medium-sized bag and see what we have. Oh boy, several things pouring out of there. So checklist, 2 hands, right? The helmet head that popped out, which is a separate, it doesn't go over the human head, it's a separate head. And then these smoke pieces, right? So little twirly things of flexible, translucent gray smoke plastic. All right, let's take a look at these hands. These hands. So 2 different styles. This one a little bit more wide open, ready to do a blast out of it. One thing I can see immediately, the paint on the thumb has come off a little bit, right? So it looks like not from a bad alignment or anything like that, but possibly from rolling around, hitting up against other accessories in the little pouch, either before it was packaged or after. But not a terrible thing, you know, nothing really to write home about. I do appreciate that it's a very glossy red to kind of match the cast shiny plastic for the armor. But I'm just looking at it, it's a slightly different shade of red. It's kind of tough to tell. Slightly different shade of red, but that's okay. Tiny little thumb, it'll be a little bit far away. And then just the detail that's sculpted in there, right? So we got a logo right there. Nice iron heart on the top of the hand. So there we go. All right, and then the other one, also somewhat open, not quite as open, right? So this one's wide open, ready to go, and this one is reluctantly open. It's an action shot, right? So opening all the way. There we go. Helmet, pretty cool, right? It's our Power Ranger / Transformer / some sort of anime. How do you pronounce it? So there we go. And paint apps look decent on it, right? So cast in the shiny red plastic. Looks like we have kind of a rubbery black that's... No, that just felt like it. And it looks like it's painted because we got a little bit of imperfection right there showing through on the red. So we've got red with paint apps all over it. Nothing inlaid or anything like that. I was trying to get fancy. The gold, pretty cleanly done back here. Kind of missed the edge there, but that is the back of it. How often are we looking at the back? But this one did come around the edge a little bit nicely. The eyes, blue with a little bit of white shining through, almost like a robotic pupil type thing. So very cool. neat. I look forward to seeing that on the figure and all together. And these are the smoke pieces that came with it. Again, it's a flexible rubber translucent plastic that looks like it's ready to wrap around. So yeah, very cool. And both very similar, almost identical pieces. I'm going to say that they are. They just kind of are sitting a little bit differently because maybe that's how they were pressed when they got heated and cooled and shipping. All right, let's look at the last little small pouch, and this is those two blue blast effects, slightly curved, again, easily fixed with a little heat because these are translucent. Man, look at that. I need to get my focus in check. Thank you for your patience with that. Wow. I'm sitting here prattling on about that, and I've got it out of focus. So there we go. The translucent blue goes to a very clear blue on the end for that blast effect that goes into the palms of these hands, like we saw before, and it just pops right in, right? So if you didn't already have something, she brought her own. Yeah, she's self-sufficient. She brought her own little blast effects, all right? So there we go. And that's it for the bags. And then we have this little dude right here. This is the thing that was separate that popped out. And just look at this monster, right? I want to know what this is and what it's for. And I'm very excited. Hopefully it's going to be in the movie. It looks like it's a Wakandan weapon, maybe, just from the interesting design of it. Hopefully it's something like they partner together and they help her out and give her something. But who knows, that looks like that's where one of the ends of the lines goes, and probably the other end goes on her. So let's check her out. Oh, but first, you know what? Let's check out the paint apps on this. I'd be really missing something if I didn't do that, because we've got a lot of opportunity in there. Look at that. All that light blue. And from what I can tell, pretty well done, right? No real issues standing out there. You can kind of see some shadows showing that almost makes it seem like something's wrong, but as we rotate it, pretty clean, right? And that silver is a paint on top of this cast black plastic, which you can see has a little bit of flex and give to it. Around here, though, you can see a little bit of over paint, over spray, whatever you want to refer to it. It kind of got around the edges a little bit there. Hey, I've been guilty of that when I've painted stuff myself. I'm like, oh, I can do this edge. Oh, no. Well, no one's going to see it, right? So who's going to be upset about that? Now, let's get the lady herself out, and there she is. Right there is our Ironheart. Very cool looking figure, right? Just fresh out of the package. So cool. You know, there's these gauntlets kind of tie back to the ones that gosh, her name is slipping my mind right now, but T'Challa's sister was wearing, right, to fight in, right? Those are those. It definitely harkens back to it. So I'm thinking there's going to be quite a partnership here. Oh my gosh, that whole time, you guys are so patient with me in the focus, I swear. Hopefully you are. Hopefully you're still here. But there we go. These are the gauntlets I'm talking about. Shuri. See, there we go. In the focus, debacle, I got time to think of the name. Shuri. These remind me a lot of the gauntlets that she had at the end of the first Black Panther, and even, I believe, in the later battles, right? Infinity War stuff. So there we go. Let's take a look at the head. All right. You know, let's there we go. It definitely looks a lot cleaner when I can see it on a bigger screen, right? Like on the TV. And small up close, it looked like it wasn't quite as detailed, but then in seeing this, the light is reflecting off of it too much in real life, but here on the screen, it looks fantastic. Look at how clean that is. Look at the realism of that. I can't wait to be able to mentally compare this during the movie. Even the hair, look at the brilliance of how they did a nice fade of the color to where you can see her scalp showing through, and the color gradually grows to where it gets to the braid, the row of hair there. Fantastically done. Excellent detail on that. Excellent detail on the braids going all the way down. Very impressed with that. And then around the back, we've got the little buns with excellent texture on those, all tied together. Yeah, it looks great on the TV screen. And don't think that it's not going to look great in person. It's just the way that I have the lights set up for the TV. It shows a lot better there. But as you can see, that is what you can expect. Very well done. Very well done. Side to side tilt, not terrible. Right, so pretty good, pretty good. Let's check out the profile of the up. So these buns are definitely getting in the way, especially when we've got armor right there. So upward, not the best because it will look up, but it kind of pops somewhat back down. But we do still get an upward angle because that is straightforward. tiny little bit up, right? Little details. And then down has a very, very good move because we have it on the ball, but we also have this hinge right there that helps it move even farther down. So she can look very down, right? As she's flying through the air, she needs to be able to look down and find her target, right? So she can definitely do that. But this, she'll just have to fly above all of her targets. If she can't look up too much, she's the one that's always going to get to look down because she's flying, because she is Ironheart. Okay, and neck is definitely part of the torso, so that is not budging, but it's good that we have those 2 points of articulation, or those two things working together to create a good point of articulation. Now, here's the test with the buns. Oh my goodness, yeah, no question about it. It went right around. All right, let's check out these shoulders. Okay, so these are a hard cast red shiny plastic. So I'm kind of surprised at that, right? Because a lot of times we'll see where these shoulder pads are built to travel. Now it does have a little bit of a lift right there, but I'm putting a lot of effort into that. So when we raise the arm, it does travel above the shoulder, but it took a little bit more effort than I normally feel comfortable with. But I just wanted to test it out and see how it worked out. But it does work. It does go above. It will obviously hinder rotation because it will rotate around to the back, but it is eventually going to get caught somewhere. As far as actual shoulder deltoid rotation, forward is just not a thing unless you want to risk bending and causing that white stretch in the plastic. But it does have the upper bicep and tricep rotation, so that helps make up for that inability with the rest of the arm for posability. The elbow, we've got a double elbow. Yep, we sure do. This gauntlet kind of gets in the way some, right? But not bad. Look at that. Look at that flexibility. Wow. Okay, very well done. Very well done. Even with that gauntlet there. The gauntlet spins and it gives the illusion of a forearm rotation, but in watching the hand, the wrist, it's not. It's just the gauntlet sliding on the forearm. So forearm does not have rotation. The fist and wrist, they do, but again, this gauntlet is just absolutely a bit of a hindrance on it. But let's see, and then looking at this hinge, the wrist will pop forward and backwards. The gauntlets are neat, but I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not a fan of them just by how they get in the way. So let's see. They travel so well. We already know that the fists are meant to come off, so call me crazy, but I just went ahead and got that out of the way. Right, and I mean, it looks great both ways, right? You got the gauntlets as a little bit extra to add that look to it, but even without it, it's a fantastic looking arm, looking figure and all that, and it just kind of gives that sleekness that follows through. Okay, back to here, mid-torso, good. So we got movement forward, movement back, very good movement back, but if I let go, it does pop back down, which is good because it does create a gap if you pull too hard. Side, side, good rotation. No waist or hip rotation. Let's see how the legs do, right? So we got a lot of armor in the way, so I do not have high hopes, and those hopes are not fooled, right? Because this massive piece, this hinge, is definitely getting in the way of allowing the leg to do a side raise. If you kind of rotate it, you can do that, but it's still not a side raise. It's more like a sitting down type thing. So that is something that certainly gets in the way of that articulation. I do appreciate that we have a almost normal thigh underneath this armor, which does give it the ability to rotate like that while still looking like a solid piece. Obviously no thigh rotation there. Double pinless knees because I would hope so. There's a lot of room to build a joint inside this armor. Great flexibility though, right? So ready to I mean, you always have to limber up your armor, right? You got to stretch out the tendons and the muscles in your metallic armor. But either way, you know what? She's ready for it. Maybe it's a muscle memory thing that she does. No calf rotation, but these feet. Let me tell you, these feet are neat, right? So they go pretty far forward, pretty far back. They're on this almost like a wheel in there. But what that means is we don't have our ankle breaker. We just have a good roll forward and a roll backwards. So a little bit limited on that as far as posing, right? We're going to have to be able to have the feet basically planted flat down on the surface, which great. I mean, obviously, see, she can stand just fine on her own when you just put her right down. But, you know, as far as trying to get some tricky poses or a lot of fun, there's some opportunity there, right? Some of the capability that we see in an Iron Man figure, not necessarily there in this Ironheart. But real quick, let's pop this off. Let's see if we can suit her up, okay? So there is our helmet. boy, she really looks like just something different, something not even in the MCU anymore at this point when you put that on there. Okay, let's see if I can just figure this out by going with quote unquote logic. I don't know if I possess anything that could be called logic, but those plug in right there. Oh man, that's very cool. Very cool. And then we've got these little smoke pieces, right, that can go, I'm not sure, maybe they'll wrap around arms, maybe they'll wrap around the legs. That's the beauty of it, is we can figure out exactly where they go and then decide from there. Now, where is the other point of connection for this? Oh, okay, here we go. Maybe to one of these engines. Okay, so I'm guessing the engine is designed to power this weapon, or whatever it's supposed to be. So it would plug in there and into there. Let's see if the box is going to give us any knowledge. See, I acted like we didn't need it. But then here, if we look at an example, yep, so there we go. The arm will go in the hole here. So I guess we're probably taking the fist off. Let's try that. This is what we're here for, right? We're taking the fist off, shoving the arm in there. Wow, so it's like a whole new type of gauntlet type weapon going on here. And then this goes back and plugs into the engine for, I guess, whichever side it's on, and then into the bottom of it. What a neat little detail, right? So whatever's powering the engine is subsequently powering this cannon. So yeah, there we go. That is very cool. And she is ready to rock and roll. Oh, okay, there we go. So it's, okay, so we've got a blast for the hand, but we also have, we can do this as if she is taking off. That is very neat. Okay, so I remember seeing that on the box earlier now. So very cool little detail for flight and stuff on that. So, yep, I'm going to say this is a cool figure. Some opportunities? Sure. Is it perfect? No. Are any of them? No. But it's great, and I'm glad that I have it as now part of my collection. I'm certainly going to hang on to this Ironheart figure. I may take the gauntlets off just because it definitely looks cool enough without them, and they are a bit of a hindrance, but there we go. Now, she stood up just fine on her own without these engines. Let's see if she can, there we go. Yep, fully geared up. Got the engines on, got the engine-powered hand cannon on there, and she stands just fine on her own. Keeps doing it, hasn't fallen yet, so there we go. There is our MCU Wakanda Forever Ironheart Marvel Legends 6-inch scale figure, and we'll be right back with some 360 views of our hero. And there we have it, our MCU Wakanda Forever Marvel Legends Ironheart. Look at that figure. Look at that shiny red, just how it glistens in the light. And I love the blast effects for the engines in the back, for the hands. There were definitely a few opportunities that we found, but all in all, I think this thing looks amazing. I'm interested to see how it blends in with the typical MCU look, because it has such an anime, such a Transformers type look to it. So a little bit later today, we'll be seeing that, and I hope you have your Black Panther Wakanda Forever tickets lined up and ready to go see it. I'm sure it's going to be a thrill ride just like the first one. I'm very interested in this. But there she is, and I hope you enjoyed it. Beautiful figure. Thank you. Well, that about does it. Thank you as always for checking us out and for joining us on this collecting journey. Look for a new video each week, if not more, and be sure to subscribe and click that like button. It would really help us out, and it would mean a lot to me. If you'd like to see some more videos, there are a couple of quick links on your screen right now for you to check out. But no matter what, as always, thank you for taking the time, and we are all in this world of collecting together. Let's look out for each other. Thanks.